This episode of the Coarse Grind Podcast has been sponsored in part by Irving Brewery. If you're in Northeast Pennsylvania and you're looking for some of the finest craft beer around, look no further than the Irving Brewery, located at 2 Chapel Street in lovely historic Honesdale. With an attention to detail that feels high-end and small-town comfort, Irving Brewery does beer, and they do it very, very well. Irving Brewery, 2 Chapel Street, Honesdale, PA 18431. Now on to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Coarse Grind Podcast. With you, as always, Shawn Rosler, host, creator. How the hell are you doing this evening? Episode 34. That's actually my home address number. That's the only joke I have for 34, because I just turned 39, and that's kind of sad. So, you know, for as many firsts as this show has had, there's still one that has eluded, and that's the double back. Guest upon guest upon guest, 33 episodes, and nowhere in that line has there ever been a repeat of sorts. Going back to The Well hasn't really happened for what equates to now 2 years this show's been going on. But tonight, all that's about to change, and with damn good reason. On a recent trip home to Honesdale to celebrate my father's and my birthday, as well as Easter, also known as Zombie Jesus Day, I happened upon, as no one would be surprised by, my favorite watering hole in the area and current sponsor, who makes amazing shirts, the Irving Brewery. The beer was solid as always, and at one point my wife asked for the keys to the car, said she was going out to quote-unquote take a nap, which she honestly does. 11 o'clock or after, she'll sleep in the car, it's awesome, until I was ready to leave. Out she goes, and next to me sits an intriguing human being. With my wife still there, I might not have even turned to talk to him. But since she wasn't, I did, and here he is. Tonight's guest started his grind 15 years ago as a dishwasher who realized, like we all do with even the slightest exposure to the kitchen, that it is fucking amazing. Year after year, he ascended, he absorbed, he learned, only to come into being a corporate training chef, taking on the role of sous under Chef Dustin Hoffman of South Africa. He transitioned to exec, and finally to opening his very own doors. But as all too often happens, those doors closed, right time being what it is, leading him back to operating a successful kitchen. And then he found Irving Brewery, where he's not only building a new home, but a new brand. This man is ready to give people memorable moments, defining ICB as a staple, and leading the next generation of chefs down a tunnel of culinary passion that is nearly unmatched in my experience. With a brewery the caliber of Irving Cliff, it's easy to see why the chef feels he's home. So let's hear about this journey from the man himself. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, my guest this evening, the executive chef of my favorite hometown brew pub, Irving Cliff Brewery, Chef Ricky Thomas. Chef, how are we doing this evening, sir?
Good, thanks a lot. How's it going?
Oh, it's great, man. It's great. So, welcome to the show. For those of you tuning in for the first time, for those of you tuning in again who are too drunk to remember it from last time, here we go. We've got starters, we've got mains, we've got afters, 3 sections of questions. Starters, we're going to talk to the chef about where he comes from. Mains, we're going to talk about where he's at. And afters, a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit more fun. No one's ever been hurt, and I don't expect that to change tonight. So, without further ado, chef, tell me about where and what you grew up eating.
Well, with my father being a Marine, it was always eclectic, everything that we could put in our mouths. Everything from MREs to, we had a huge, it was the best restaurant ever. It was called the Rice Bowl in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and it was a dark, dungeon-like restaurant, and it was an open kitchen, and you could just see everything that happened. I mean, the whole filleting of the fish to right on your plate, homemade green tea ice cream, and who knows what else was going on in the back. But it was the start of something that just sparked me watching these people go to town with huge knives and big fish, and that was something awesome. And from there, it just rolled to sushi and fresh. It was constantly fresh.
Right on. So I mean, it sounds like it was less even about the taste than it was about the experience itself.
Oh, absolutely. That was something that I'll carry for life. Just remember sitting there with my father and watching these people just go at it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I imagine that's influenced you at least slightly, if not majorly, today. That impact of that flavor profile. Does that come through in what you're doing these days?
Absolutely. That's a huge influence for a lot of my Asian fusion, cooking and style.
Right on. Right. And another thing you mentioned, which honestly, in 34 episodes of the show, I don't know has been mentioned, you're officially the MRE virgin. So for those of you unaware in the listening audience, Chef, what is an MRE and what does it taste like?
It's meals ready to eat. It tastes like cardboard.
And just as an aside, I kind of know what they taste like. I just want to hear someone else say it and almost cry saying it. So go ahead.
They're it's almost like a Hooters logo. It's delightfully cardboard yet refined. It's a love.
Delightfully cardboard yet refined. Now, do me a favor. Get into the whole combination angle of MREs, because I've heard like you get them in different packages, but if you combine certain things, doesn't it taste like something?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can make s'mores. You can make. I mean, you got to take, but that you're opening up 2-3 MREs. You got to get. You can get your granolas and you can get a powder and that you shock it with your water, and you got s'mores in a matter of no time with your instant chocolate pudding.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of combinations. Sausage biscuit and gravy, I remember, was one that we kind of concocted.
So that's amazing in and of itself. The fact that your culinary backdrop, let's say, goes from MREs to straight up beautiful, fresh Asian fish action. I mean, that's a big jump to make, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And I mean, when you grow up on right outside of a Marine Corps base, you have a lot of downtime in a garage, so you constantly go through your dad's sea bags and find the packages and wait for him to get home to go eat great fish.
Right on. So with that gamut in place, I mean, obviously that's huge. That, again, not to toot your horn any further with episode 34, but that might be the biggest gamut I've ever heard for, hey, what'd you grow up eating? Is it safe to say that you really weren't too terribly picky as an eater?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I can remember being 6-7 years old, digging right into sushi.
6-7 years old and eating sushi. Now, I think I probably awkwardly showed you pictures of my kids, because that's what I do when it's 12 in the morning and I've been fucking drinking.
Absolutely.
But absolutely,
it's the best time to display your pride.
No shit, absolutely. But like my now 8-year-old, I think he started eating sushi when he was like 6. I mean, he digs it. So I think, like, where is the parental fall off that we're not exposing kids to this shit sooner?
I think it's a lot to do with allergies and wanting to believe that, our children have these things or protect them from them, to maybe not allow it. And I just, as a whole, I mean, growing up with a Marine Corps family, I think that diversified me a lot. But, maybe I believe people aren't introduced to things, they want to stay in their own realm of what they know, right, versus expanding and broadening their horizons and just loving food for what it is.
And isn't it easier to say, oh, well, Johnny, you might be allergic to this, versus, oh, well, Johnny, I don't want to break you out of steak, mashed potatoes, and French fries. And that sucks. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah,
oh, there's mercury in the fish. Watch out. Oh,
yep.
Mercury in my fucking thermometer, too. But anyway, moving
on.
So you have this diverse backdrop, which is phenomenal. I mean, absolutely vast. Are there childhood foods that you look back at and just miss? I mean, I'm talking pain in your heart, almost like dead relative pain, that, you want to go back to.
Yesterday you got her arms stuck inside her apron.
That's a lot. There was 2 restaurants that, it was called Katsudon.
Mm-hmm.
And it come in a box, and it was rice with chicken and egg. And that was something that every time I ever visit back to North Carolina, it's a must-have. I have to get some Katsudon. And green tea ice cream, that's something that they made it there. It was just, I have to have it. And every once in a while you'll come across a restaurant that carries it, and they don't have anything like it. You'll never replace it.
they'll
often
say green tea ice cream, or like for me, they'll say strawberry cake or something, but it's not what my grandmother made.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you completely. Growing up, would you say you had a culinary lightning rod? Like, who is your inspiration?
My mother.
Mom, definitely.
Yeah.
No question.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a huge amount of influence that comes from other chefs and what's been taught, but I mean that was from the beginning. She pumped bacon in my blood. After my parents got divorced, I mean, she took on everything to become, the head supporter of the household, and she became a breakfast cook. And from there, it was just cooking.
Yeah.
Going to visit mom in a restaurant in summer, and that's all. Later on, that's how I got my start in it. Washing dishes for her restaurant, and just continuously watching her, and how she understood food, and hearing food lingo, and her doing her food orders, and cases and splits and this.
Yeah.
So I mean that's my biggest influence in this.
And I mean, isn't it, between dishwashing and doing breakfast, that's where most people get their starts.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I never jumped into anything bigger until later, but it was definitely a start at dishwashing, and then I rolled into being the bread bitch, and it just kept going from there.
Right on. So you obviously have this strong influence in moms, and you've got this awesome diverse background with a Marine dad and bringing you up. When was the stake placed in the ground when you realized, like, holy shit, food isn't just point A to point B to point C. Food is life. Like, when did that happen for you?
The moment I realized that, I worked for a small French-themed restaurant called Café Déjà Vu.
Mm-hmm.
And the chef that they had was a drunk, which is, drinking is a huge, huge part of our culture.
Yeah, wasn't there a meme recently that said if all the chefs in the world got off on the same Saturday night, and it showed like people flipping over a tank?
Yes, absolutely.
It was pretty amazing. It was well done.
We could start a lot of revolutions.
Right.
But he was constantly getting drunk, and I was young, and I was dishwashing, and he would just eventually take a seat in the back and just kind of point his finger and tell me what to do and how to do it. And I realized how intense and how crazy this life was, and it intrigued me more than scared me. And I just kept going with it, and then it became from me, putting shrimp on a grill and chicken on a grill to him put a bandana around my head because I'm sweating so much, and telling me how to flip a pan, and when to put oil in it, when to put a wine in, and when to reduce it. And it just went from there to them eventually letting him go, and me being a 14-year-old sauté cook.
That's amazing. That's amazing, man. That's a phenomenal. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I was in high school, I was in college." That's in it, man. That is absolutely buried in it. But it's so true. For as much as I try to show my boys, like, hey, Dad's in the kitchen, Dad's doing this, and my 8-year-old can mince garlic with the best of them now, with a 7-inch chef knife, no problem.
I've seen that picture.
Yeah. Oh, you did. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. It's so cool to start them out, man. My grandmother had me in the kitchen at 4. It's like, why do we hide these kids from it? And you bring up the whole comfort angle, and not comfort in a good way. It's the comfort of, we only want to know what we know. Like, why not expose them to that?
Exactly. Give them appreciation for it. I mean, even now I have a 3-month-old child, and he loves it. I start cooking, Mom brings him in the kitchen. Look what Dad's doing. He's cooking, and he loves it. He smells food, and he opens his eyes right up.
I'll tell you what, man. As a father of 3, you will do him no better service.
Absolutely.
Than doing that. I promise you that. I promise you that. All right, dad moment aside. Jesus, where's this going? So, again, going back to the Drunken Chef, that's incredible. And you were 14?
Yeah.
And receiving this guidance. I mean, how, and people will say left and right that like the kitchen hardens you, matures you in a way that nothing else does.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I still say that to this day. I mean, I've calmed down, from where I was as I grew into this career. And I mean, but I tell people all the time, if you can't handle being told to shut the fuck up or be a bitch, this isn't for you. You got to be able to roll with the best of them, take the hit, and just keep going, and
that's it.
We'll hug at the end of the night and have a beer.
Yep. I was going to say, let Chef buy you a beer at the end of the night and call it a day, because I found out I did breakfast work here, actually, while I was still in college. I did breakfast work there at home when it was the coffee grinder. I think it's something else. But
Laurel's.
Laurel's, okay. I worked in that kitchen morning shift for a couple summers. And while I didn't get it there, I had a guy here in Bloom who would be the transition into dinner guy. But we did a breakfast service, and he'd come in, and he just raked me over the fucking coals. And the first couple days, I had a fraternity brother who was on the wait staff, and I'd go to him, I'd be like, I can't believe what this guy just said to me. And I'd tell him, and Adam would just laugh. He'd be like, shut up, fucking take it.
Yeah,
like, what?
Absolutely. I mean, pans being thrown, tongs.
Yep, exactly.
Hot grease,
as soon as I started taking it, all of a sudden this guy kind of throttled back on me and was like, hey, you're doing that wrong. I'm like, what do you mean I'm doing that wrong? They asked for over easy, not over medium. Let me show you.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, I can pick that up. And, to this day, sling breakfast like a boss here in my kitchen, not with waiting tables, mind you, but
exactly.
It's such an evolutionary field, and the fact that you were on saute at 14 speaks volumes about where you're clearly at today.
Absolutely.
So looking at where you are today, here you are in Irving Cliff Brewery. Again, I can't say enough nice things about it. Granted, sponsor spot, 30-second at the beginning of the episode, fine. I truly believe their beer is some of the best beer, ever, hands down. But you're there, You're the exec chef, you're putting this brand forward. Where are you drawing from today to make that image happen? What is your inspiration?
My son.
Yeah?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, that and, obviously the food and being an organic town of which Honesdale is.
Yeah.
I mean, pulling fresh and keeping, the local thing going. But I mean, mainly, a lot of it's my son. I want to achieve well for him and, build a gateway for him into this, whether or not he chooses this career, because it is one for crazy people. But I mean, it's mainly, it's all about love.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, you know what? I didn't ask you the other night, and I didn't ask you yet. Did you grow up in Honesdale, or well, obviously you had the growing up on the Marine.
Yeah, I did.
Path.
I did partially. My mother's from here, or from Honesdale.
Oh, right.
And my mom was actually, my mother and I were both born in Carbondale. Can you delete that off the record?
Ah! What, you mean Garbagedale? Oh,
yeah. Hey, take it easy. But
right.
So we were both born in the same hospital, and she's from Honesdale, and she has a long route system there, And my father was in the Marine Corps, and she met him in North Carolina. So
right.
I lived back and forth a lot, and I mean, collectively, I've lived in Honesdale for about 15 years.
Yeah. So that makes a little more sense. I was kind of trying to piece together the geography of it all, and truth be told, I think I might have been born over in Carbondale, not Wayne Memorial. So, I can't say shit now.
Yeah, we'll keep that one under wraps.
We'll keep that one under wraps, absolutely. There is actually, oddly enough, there is another Shawn Rosler from Carbondale. Crazy.
Oh, wow.
I know. He's now a football coach down around Harrisburg, I think. But, so there's that. But, so your son is your inspiration. And obviously, I think if anybody's a parent, you can appreciate that standpoint. Here's this living thing that's relying on me. Let me go forward and do great things.
Yeah. I mean, you don't ever want to be in a standstill in life. You always want to achieve. And, I had a little motto that I went by going through all this, work harder and faster than the man next to you.
Yep.
And I just, I would never want to see myself at a lull and being stagnant, and, just continue growing and, which will obviously make me a better provider for my child. But
for sure,
it'll give us all, more wisdom and be able for me to give him more insight. And
Absolutely. So to date, what would you say has been your like trademark creation? Something that Chef Ricky Thomas made and made it so good no one else has.
Oh, it's got to be the creamy garlic dressing.
Creamy garlic dressing. Wait a minute. Now, are you slinging that at Irving Cliff now?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, everything. I mean, I sell it by the gallon a day. Literally.
Really?
It's on wings. It's on salad dressings. It's on everything. Yeah, it's out there.
I just dropped the red pencil that I used to take notes, and I don't usually do that. So, creamy garlic dressing. Now, wait a minute, because there's a shirt in the show for you, but I gotta wonder if I can get in on this creamy garlic dressing. Can you explain it a little bit?
Yeah, it's simple. The change in it and what makes it what it is Splenda.
Mm-hmm.
You got to use Splenda, man. There's something about that aspartame.
Wait,
but,
is Splenda aspartame? I thought that was only sweet and low, or is it?
No, that's Splenda, right?
No shit. No, I don't know.
Hey, whether or not it's not sugar.
Right. Doesn't matter. Fake sugar.
Yeah.
Because the one type, isn't it like? I hate to say this in a fucking interview, but like it's like bacteria farts.
Yeah, something like that.
Hang on a minute. I'm gonna find out. But you go on. So Splenda's the secret.
Yeah, but I mean it's a mayonnaise based, vinegar, roasted garlic, scallions, and just finding that right consistency and the right amount of Splenda. But I mean, I'll tell you what, it's one of the methods of which a chef that I used to work under told me, keep it simple, stupid.
Exactly,
just simplicity.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a sucralose derivative. It's not aspartame. Aspartame was sweet and low. So that's the one that caused cancer. This doesn't cause cancer.
Well, that's good to know. Then I don't feel as bad selling it.
Yeah. Here you go. Is sucralose, a.k.a. a Splenda brand sweetener, natural? Sucralose, the high-intensity sweetener used in all Splenda products, is a no-calorie sweetener made from a process that starts with sugar. Although sucralose has a structure like sugars and sugar-like taste, it is different from sugar. Okay, that's about as clear as fucking mud. Okay, so moving on. Sucralose, a.k.a. Splenda, is your cornerstone, and I need to get in on some of that creamy garlic dressing the next time I'm home, clearly. Any other creations that really kind of stand out to you as your cornerstone?
There's a lot.
And feel free, be egotistical. Right now, the spotlight's on you, kid. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm cool with this. My lamb. Lamb is a that's if anything that's the mortar, because I'm so versatile with lamb, and I mean I can throw it in so many different directions. I don't know what it is about it. It just I understand it. It understands me, and we mold, and it's a beautiful thing. I love lamb. I love creating with it.
Mm-hmm. See, why do people shy away from lamb? Like, do you notice that more people than not shy away from lamb versus pork, beef, chicken?
Yeah, I think it's more or less of they don't understand it.
Yeah.
Or they hear a little bah in their head,
Oh my God, Jesus is like a lamb. I can't eat him. All right, fair enough. I get it.
Don't forget our roots. We're all carnivores,
That's right. Exactly. If it has legs, I'm in.
Exactly.
So creamy garlic dressing. If I ever see a dish of yours with lamb and creamy garlic dressing, forget
what?
about
That's
it.
a new one. I might have to play with that now.
Yeah, I want.
I never combine the two.
I want credit for that shit.
Yeah, that definitely might be like a Momofuku moment.
There you go. So, speaking of Momofuku, wow, what a transition. I did not pay you for that. Never mind. So, trends happen all the time in food, We have one moment we're focusing on artisanal toast, shit like that. What, in your opinion, is going to be the next big thing? What do you see coming up through the ranks right now?
Oh man, it's this. I've seen it at a food show, ironically, and it's amazing. And I really want to get into it. and it almost is like a more of a spin off of deconstruction and cheese, like charcuterie, like a board. But they're called smear boards. And what they were doing is they were putting like purees and sauces and raw
like
scallops.
Pâtés too.
Yeah, anything. They were, any protein source, and then they were getting like, I seen one was like a cauliflower puree and venison with like a red wine reduction, and they would just put it all over this board, like a plexiglass board, and just you dig in. It's more like a free for all, and you just create your art on this the smear board, they call it.
No shit.
Yeah, and it was awesome. It was beautiful. But I think that's like if I can find a way to like downscale it and make it personal,
right.
Either per person or per table.
Right.
I think that, but like, if once people catch a hold of that, I mean, maybe I should get into this now.
Yeah. Seriously,
because I mean, honestly, like once it's like everything that's going on in like LA and whatnot. Like, I mean, they're doing huge and crazy things out there, and I mean, I think that's like the next thing. It's all shareables right now, tapas and things like that.
Tapas, charcuterie, that whole thing. We were just out at Ledges, I think it is, out there in Hawley.
Yeah, great.
We
Travis.
went there for my birthday, and basically I saw the menu, and it's very like a la carte. You can get one piece. Yeah. And I brought the waiter over and I said, "Listen, I want you to take care of me. I don't care about price.
Yeah.
I want charcuterie. I want a fucking lot of it.
Yeah.
And I want you to custom wine flight me in addition to that."
Yeah.
And they pampered my ass. They powdered me, changed my diaper, friggin' everything top to bottom. That's what I want when I go somewhere. And I think charcuterie, while I don't think it's ever gone away, I think now people are paying attention and going, wow, I can get this array of things, and that talks to your smearboard concept.
Exactly. It's like Bananas Foster's. I mean, just because it happened in the 70s and it was huge with Cherry's Jubilee, it doesn't mean it's over.
Exactly.
Just
I'll
recreate
still dominate a fucking Bananas Foster, please.
Exactly. Flambe me something.
Exactly.
But I mean, that goes back to a lot of, like earlier what you were saying, of inspirations and, speaking of being from at Glass, Travis, he's an amazing chef and he's a best friend of mine. He lives right down the road, but he's another huge inspiration. I met him about a year and a half ago and the man hasn't left my side. He's a great person, very knowledgeable, food genius, if you would.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually part of our conversation the other night, actually.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, definitely. I mean, that wasn't lost on me at all. Like, when he came out, I saw his kind face. He wanted me to feel good. And that's the most beautiful part about the whole, like, chef, cook, whatever game.
Yeah.
Is like, wow, you gave a shit about me. Thank you.
Yep. And that's my passion. I mean, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this to you the other night as well. Like, teachers don't teach because of the paycheck.
Yep.
And I don't cook because of I want to work 70 hours a week and be weekends and never have a Friday and Saturday to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I do it to, have that person like, hey, everything was amazing. You made my fiance's and mine first night out since we had a kid amazing. It's all about memories, and
that was
a
birthday for me. That sitting at the bar with you was a birthday for me too.
Yeah,
it's
beautiful.
like, holy shit, here's
Thank
somebody.
you.
Not only that, but like, you didn't even cook for me, but the fact that the conversation ensued like it did, I'm like, my God, that's satisfying. That's so satisfying. And admittedly, I stopped at the Wayne Hotel with my wife sleeping in the car, had a pint of Guinness, and got back in the car.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing. It was phenomenal. But, I mean, just that it's evident, and there's not been a single human voice on this show in 34 episodes where that hasn't come through. I think that's the common thread, and certainly yours spoke volumes. So, smearboard is going to be the next big thing. According to Chef Ricky Thomas, you heard it here first. What is a trend that's going on right now that you wish would just go the Hindenburg route and just die? Like, is there one? Is it molecular? Everybody trashes on molecular.
I have a respect for the molecular gastronomy and
like Wiley and that crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that they have their own, it's something that doesn't need to go any further.
Mm-hmm.
You want it, seek them out.
Right.
I wouldn't say it just needs to go crash and burn.
But it can fade to the back, much like,
yeah, it like the Green Goddess did.
Yes.
Yeah, faded to the black. Like, let it come out every once in a while.
Yep. No, I agree completely.
I mean, what I would call the trend that needs to go, and it's because it's what it is. I mean, I have a soft heart for people with diseases and sensitivities and allergies, but this gluten trend has got to stop.
Yeah. but I've got celiac.
Yeah, no, it's called the Atkins diet.
Too true. All right, so you've got a 50-50 split between molecular and gluten.
Yeah.
They can both kind of throttle it back a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's next for you, dude? I mean, obviously, you're just getting settled in to Irving Cliff, and I think you're going to have a long, beautiful ride there because that place isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
No, I mean, we're great.
Where do you want to see it go?
I want to, with the whole brewery, I mean, I want it's going to blow up, and I want it to be the place that everyone comes to, and, I cook everything for everybody, and I don't want to ever bound myself to just say I want to do these amazing duck burgers or elk burger.
Right.
I want to, I want to give everybody something that they never had, and I feel like just because we're in Honesdale, they shouldn't be bound to just being in Honesdale.
Right.
But just give them the chance to broaden their horizons and give them whatever. And I mean, now that we have the caves that are going to be part of the tour, I mean, because we just got the rights. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. And I've heard about it, but probably everyone else hasn't. Honesdale, super huge development here in Irving Cliff. So explain that for me.
Oh, so what it is back from, and I want to say it was 1853.
Yes.
They had the caves under the Irving Cliff, which is a huge monument. If you ever get the chance to roll through Honesdale, all of the listeners would be able to understand that. But there was caves that the original Irving Cliff used for lagering, and they would carry them back there because refrigeration wasn't available. And so naturally underground, to do a lager, you got to keep it under 50 degrees so it can condition. And that was the only way to do it, so they would pack ice down there on sawdust and make an ice house. So
genius. Freaking genius.
And I mean, we've come this far and we still haven't done anything like that.
Exactly.
But I mean, eventually what I want to do down there is like a completely different thing. And, maybe it's the smear boards. And just do everything deconstructed and let them have fun and play with their food.
Yes.
And grow their own passion and appreciation for it versus me putting it on a plate and forcing them to. And then they can pick their flavors and understand, flavor profiling and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's where I would like to go with it.
Well, and I think one of the most beautiful things about the dinner that I had out in Hawley is that, here I had this wine pairing that was intelligently selected for me to accompany this charcuterie board. Like, and I mean this with all of my heart, people listening, when you go to a restaurant, let them take care of you. Don't be so hard up squeezing that menu with white knuckles like you're going to die if you don't relinquish that control. Say, here's a couple things I like. Take care of me.
Yeah.
It is one of the most liberating feelings ever you will ever have.
We're in the industry for a reason, We're aware of it. We know. Let us do it.
Yep. People come over to my house, and first thing in the door, I always offer them a beer. And they're like, well, I want to, and I'm like, what do you like? Do you like light or dark? Do you like bitter or sweet? And I can pick something based on that because of my experience. Yeah. Same thing for you, obviously on a much higher shelf as far as the whole dining experience goes. Let let them take care of you. It's not that hard. You just have to let some control go.
Absolutely.
For sure. So, the brewery is going to blow up. They're doing the tours. Obviously, they're going in the caves. It's awesome. IrvingCliffBrewery.com. Check some of these graphics out. I mean, this is going back to, like Ricky said, 1853. You know, these are sketchy post-Civil War dudes sitting on beer barrels. Like, you can't get much better than that.
No.
Last I checked.
No.
So, I'm just saying. So, and honest to God, dude, I obviously having had the two brewmasters on before, having you guys as a sponsor means a lot to me. But I mean, having you here tonight, I couldn't wish you guys more forward momentum in that realm. So I hope it blows up. I hope I have to stand and wait in line. I don't really. I hope I don't. I hope I can.
No.
We'll
sneak in. We'll sneak you in the side door.
Sneak me in the side door. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, with that out of the way, we're going to shift over to the afters here. A little bit more off the cuff, a little bit more fun. So I'm standing in your kitchen. You can choose professionally or at home. Of course, now that you're a dad, you got to be all polite and shit. So you pick. But anyway, what music would I hear in your kitchen?
Oh, man, a little bit of everything. It's going to go from Screamo to Biggie Smalls to Tupac to Fetty Wap. I mean... It'll go all over the place in my kitchen. You know, if you stay in there long enough, you might even hear some Reba.
Ooh, wow! You are definitely all over the place. That's fantastic.
Yeah. It all depends on the mood. Some days I'm a country. Some days I'm a gangster rap, and some days it's Dave Matthews. You know, and I just want to slice cucumber all day.
I don't know why that's so funny. Dave Matthews is slicing cucumbers. I like it.
Because he's cool as cucumber, man. It's
fair enough. I'll take that. Fair enough. So, you mentioned before how you've kind of evolved in the kitchen. How is your mouth in the kitchen nowadays? Like, if you had to use the movie rating scale, are you still an R? Have you toned it back?
Oh no, I was an R. I was in Triple X. I mean, for a while. Yeah, it was when I first got my role. I mean, it's you see like Chef Gordon Ramsay flipping out on all these people, and you think that's what you have to do, and that's how you get the respect, and that's how you become chef, and get the title of chef. And and I fastly learned after losing employees and friends, that's not how you do it.
Yep.
So I'm more of a PG-13. I mean, I might slip up or I'll slip up every once in a while, but I mean, for the most part, it's you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar.
That's right. And that's always what I hear from people who have run at least a little bit of the tunnel. They're like, you know what? I used to be a dick, and now I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So
because now I hold the business aspect of it. So it's
right.
If you're out there and you're having a bad day or you're not understanding it, instead of me freaking out on you because you didn't understand what my sea bass and Pompeo was, that's my fault.
Right.
I didn't train you. I didn't give you the time, instead of freaking out on you and telling you you're stupid and imbecile.
Right.
I set you down for 2 seconds and explain the culinary technique behind it and what it is and what we're doing. So then you can better sell my product and be a happier human being. Absolutely.
Lisa Fernandez from Season 3 of Top Chef. I had her on episode 11, actually. And she is now in the Sweet Chili NYC food truck. And she said one of the greatest things for her professionally was working in her food truck because everything's open.
Yeah.
Kids want to come up and see it. Now, are you going to ball someone out in front of a kid?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No.
You're going to rope that shit in. Yep. So, it's interesting. It's always interesting to hear people who are making that next step go, you know what? I used to be Marco Pierre White. Now I'm a little bit more Mario Batali.
Yeah.
Not that Batali probably doesn't ball people out, but you don't see that up front.
Yeah. I'm definitely a Chef Amberell now.
Oh. No. No, dude. Peroxide, tips, then we'll talk about that.
No. Because I just started looking at some yellow Crocs.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm going to go with her eclectic shoe fashion. Yeah.
Well done. Well played. So, theoretical question up next. You're going to be stranded on a deserted island. and you can only take 3 foods or food items with you. What would they be and why?
Jackfruit.
Jackfruit out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, it's so versatile.
My wife has jackfruit tea, and admittedly, I never have eaten jackfruit before. And I smelled it, and instantly I'm like, well, wait a minute, what is this?
Yeah. I did a jackfruit pulled pork.
Ooh.
Well, quote unquote pork, but it was good. Barbecue sauce, and it was so tender, and it just fell apart like pulled pork. But definitely have to be jackfruit. Apple cider vinegar.
And keep in mind, these ingredients like auto-regenerate. So, if you use all of it, they come back. So jackfruit, apple cider vinegar, and...
Probably basil. That's like my biggest, apple cider vinegar and basil. That's like a staple in what I use it I use it in a lot of things, so I would have to have that.
Right on.
But yeah, it would have to be an herb.
Right on. Jackfruit, apple cider vinegar, and basil. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Is there still, at this point in your career, any food or dish or anything like that just scares the shit out of you? When somebody orders it, mentions it, suggests that it be made?
No.
No. Nothing.
I don't really. No, I'm kind of. I'm in it. There's nothing that really. Because for myself, I'm all over the place with food as an eater as well.
Right. Right.
So
right,
nothing really bothers me. Chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely like if I could get gloves that go up to my elbows. Like, yeah. I don't mind cooking it. It's just touching it.
Right.
Yeah, right, but besides that, nothing. No.
Nothing doing. Yeah, no. And that's funny. Again, 34 episodes deep. I think I've had 3 people answer with something, 2 of which were souffles. And that just kind of stems from like one bad experience.
Yeah, I can understand why, but I haven't done too many of them to be worried about it.
Right. and it's not like you're getting a steady flow of I like a souffle, Rick.
Yeah,
no one's asking for it, but I can see why that would trip some people up if they're in that kind of kitchen. Like I had a CIA student on instantly. Souffle. Like, it was almost like a knee-jerk reaction.
It's a temperamental item.
Yeah. Don't talk too loud around them.
Exactly. That's. It's like a newborn. Shh.
Yeah. Shh. They're sleeping. Step out of the room. You literally click the door latch.
Exactly.
God damn it, go to sleep. I can only say that because I've got 3 deep. You're probably like, oh, it's cute when they cry. No. Right on. So have you read any of the Melanie Denea series, My Last Supper?
I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
You are 34 for 34. I cannot believe I swing and miss this much. No, I'm sorry, 33 for 34 because my wife was a guest. And she only read it because I read it to her, and she read it to me. So Melanie Denea has written this series, 2 so far. My Last Supper and The Next Course. And they're 50 famous chefs, and they're asked the same string of questions. Kind of drew the inspiration for the show from that. And her questions, the 5 deep, revolve around, you're checking out tomorrow. Fate is going to punch your card. What are you going to have for your last supper? What are you going to drink? Who's going to be there? What kind of music? So I ask you, sir, your last supper, what would it be and why?
My last supper. I can only say this because I had it last night and it was simply delicious.
Yeah?
It was a foie gras Gouda mac and cheese.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was amazing. To drink, I'm definitely going to have some layer cake Pinot Noir from California.
Nice.
For my entree, that's a tough one. That would probably be the Miyazaki.
From the North Carolina.
No, the Wagyu.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. It would probably be a nice.
But that's still drawing on that North Carolina Asian upbringing.
Yeah.
That's tight, man. Wow.
Yeah, I would have to. Yeah, either that or, to be honest, and to be a simple man at the end of the day, pho.
Ooh.
Hit me with some beef pho and I'm in.
Fuck it, have both. You're going out. Who cares, right?
Exactly.
Right on.
And then dessert would definitely have to just be a very simple vanilla bean creme brulee.
Oh, perfect. Music?
You know what? I encourage everybody to go find. It's called Hip Hop. It's Hip Hop BBQ on Pandora.
Shut up. All right, I'm going to tell you something. We went to Ocean City, Maryland this last summer vacation, and we just discovered Hip Hop BBQ.
Yeah.
On Pandora. It is the greatest thing musically to ever exist.
Exactly.
Hands
and that's
fucking
playing
down.
Yeah.
Hip Hop BBQ. No doubt.
That's it.
Beautiful. That is a
punch
beautiful
my card and take me out.
Punch your
I'm
fucking
cool
card.
with that.
You're out, man. You're out. And finally, the last question, Chef. The simplest and the most complex. What is food to you in a single word?
Love.
I love it, man. You join the majority, my friend. And
love.
Yet, it's... How could you answer that question in any other way?
I don't know. It's all love. You know, from people hating you to failing to succeeding to crying to losing hours of sleep to missing your family to it's all about love. You know, you do it for.
I've never seen a more devastated human being than a cook whose recipients didn't like their dish.
Yeah.
Like, it is a crushing blow. Like, I don't think you experience in other fields, you know?
No. You beat yourself up over it. You know, it could be 2:00 in the morning. You're like, damn it. You know, where did I go wrong? And, you know, and I even see that in a lot of servers, you know, that are in it. You know, I got 20 years experience in serving, you know. It's, oh, my God, I forgot to give that lady her ranch.
Right.
You know, what the hell are you talking about? That was your first table of the evening. You know, it's ranch. Get over it. No, you know, it's our job. It's our life. It's our passion.
And those are the people that give a shit about it. Those are the people I will tip 100% because it comes through every time.
Absolutely.
But you can smell bullshit behind the line, and you can smell bullshit in the dining room.
Absolutely.
Like nothing else, man. Like nothing else but love. And clearly, and this is not, you know, the interview's over. I don't have to kiss your ass anymore. But clearly, for me to connect with somebody and have them on this show based on a maybe 30-minute conversation, 30, 40?
Right.
Like, there was just something instantly. And I mean, honest to God, dude, all bullshit aside, there's something magical and unique in you, Chef. So I congratulate you on a career well served to date, and I wish you only the absolute best going forward.
Thank you.
I mean, it means the world, and I truly think, folks, if you're looking for the next big thing in Honesdale, go by Irving Cliff, have the lamb, have the creamy garlic dressing, have a fucking culinary orgasm, and love every second of it, because this guy is going to be the guy to take you there. So, Chef, I appreciate your time so much, brother. It means the world.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, episode 34 of the Coarse Grind Podcast. My guest this evening has been Chef Ricky Thomas, the executive chef at Irving Cliff Brewery, 2 Chapel Street in Honesdale, Pennsylvania, 18431. IrvingCliffBrewery.com, 570-647-0644. Go check them out. I don't care if you're driving through on your way to wherever. Stop It is going to change your culinary world. My producer, as always, this evening has been Johnny Leland Robinson, a.k.a. the Reverend Johnny Lamoria. Be sure to check out his podcast, Cinematic Pig's Feet. And the next episode will be number 35. Stay tuned. It's only going to get better from here, kids.